So this week you were faced with the challenge of getting a blinking LED on your Arduino, and you were given some code to start with. Actually, two sources of that code. One was from the book, and so what you see in front of you here is some of the code that some of you used, and you notice that it's quite lengthy. In fact, it says here that there are 141 lines of code in this particular program. The other program that you may have used is some sample code that I actually put in eCollege for you to look at, and you'll notice that it actually has 24 lines of code. The thing is that both of these programs are identical in terms of what they do. So what is the main difference? That kind of gets at some of the symbols that you see in here. So you'll notice that this starts off with this backslash and a asterisk, and that is telling you that everything that comes after that is going to actually be a comment. So in here, nothing in this actually runs all the way down to here where you have the closing of that particular set of code. So that's a comment block. So here's an asterisk and a backslash, and it started with a backslash and an asterisk. So you can think of it as almost like quotes, an opening and closing quotes. So now if you look at after that, you have the closing. You notice that they have an opening again. Now in this case they're using a double slash. The double slash is another way of saying that this line is going to be a comment. So you notice that every line here has the double slash in front of it. So that's showing you that that is a those are all comments. So here's another comment block. So this right here happens to be the very first line of code that'll actually execute, and it says void setup, and that's a function, the setup function. This happens to be one of the two functions that must be in your sketch. If you don't have one of these in your sketch is not going to run. Then there's some additional comments after that, and then they have a line that says pin mode 13 output, and then there's a semicolon at the end. So here there's this thing called pin mode, and what we're doing is we're saying that the pin 13 pin mode is telling us what is this pin going to do, and we're saying the pin 13 is going to be an output. So it's going to have a signal that goes out of 13. Then we've got some more documentation, and the nice thing about this particular program that I'm showing you right now is that this is the one that comes with the book, and so all throughout the activities, if we start with one of these, there's going to be a lot of embedded information in here that's well worth you reading. If you don't read it, then you'll likely not get that information, and so it's going to be difficult for you to do some of the later challenges. This is the next must-have function in your sketch. You have to have a loop. So you have setup and loop are the two must-have functions, and so void loop is the syntax to open that up. And you notice that there's a curly brace there, which I don't believe I pointed out in the first one, but the curly brace represents the beginning of that function, and anything in between that curly brace and the last curly brace is going to be part of that function. So you notice there's a bunch more documentation, and then we have this digital write. This is going to be an output piece here. So we're going to say that we're going to output digital write, and digital means either on or off, and in this case it's high or low. So 13 is going to be high, and you notice that there's some documentation at the end of that line or embedded in that line that says turn on LED. There's a bunch of more information here that kind of helps you figure out what all the numbers mean in that. We've got a delay, so delay 1000, you can probably guess what that means, that we're going to pause, have some sort of pause before the next thing happens. 1000 is the value we're putting in there, and in fact it says here that it's going to then be 1 second. So if you wanted to delay for 2 seconds, you would probably guess then that a 2000 would give you a 2-second delay. And that's certainly something that you can play with in the code. Then you have a digital write 13. We're going to write to pin 13 again. This time it's low, which just simply turns off the LED. And then we're going to delay again, in this case another 1000. And this all ends with some more comments here, and then our ending curly brace. So if I take a look at that code now, in one that's been cleaned up a bit, you'll notice that in this particular example here, this is the one that has 24 lines of code. I left a little bit of the documentation in here, but you notice that we've got this variable here we're calling LED, and saying LED equals 13, and we initialize that variable as an integer. And then here is our setup. That's one of our must-have functions, and within our setup we set up our pin mode. In this case, LED. And if you remember from the other program, it didn't say LED, it just said pin mode 13. This allows me to, by using a variable name here, I can go ahead and change values here, and it'll change throughout the program. One change in this place will change the value in 1, 2, 3 different places. The way the other program was written, I would have to change this. If I wanted to move this to pin 12 instead of 13, I'd have to change it here, here, and here. So I'd have to actually make 3 changes to make that happen. So using the variables is actually much more efficient. So here's the second must-have function. That's our loop function. Again, the syntax would be void loop, and then we have the open and the closing semicolons. Now I asked you to play around with some of the punctuation, like what would happen if you came across and you put 2 slashes in front of that. You'll notice that it takes the void setup and turns it into a comment. If I were to try and compile this program right now, we'll just click this button here. You'll notice that it gives me an error. And it's going to give you some hints down here. Now, when this is called debugging. You're trying to figure it out. Why this isn't working? And you'll notice that I have this this line highlighted for me. Well, one of the things you need to know about debugging is that sometimes it's going to highlight the line where the error actually exists, or it's going to be some missing code from up above. Something else has happened. And if I actually take these 2 lines back out and I compile it, now it's going to compile correctly. And the other thing you'll notice is that if I were to change something here, let's say instead of pin mode, I ask you to play around with punctuation, or excuse me, with capitalization. And if I make that a lowercase m, notice that in this case it's no longer recognized as code that is native to the language. And again, if I go ahead and compile this, it's going to tell me that there's an error there. And in this case, the error is simply that I have a lowercase m rather than a capital M. So there are certain places where you have to be very specific about it. Here, if output is changed to all lowercase, you'll notice that it is no longer recognized. And if I were to compile this code, it's going to give me an error on that same line. So you have to be very careful about this. Let me go ahead and change that. So it is case sensitive. And in fact, if you take a look at the variables, here's LED, all lowercase here. If I come over here and change this to all capitals and compile, it's going to give me an error on that same line. So all 3 of those particular changes I made gave me an error on the same line, but each one is for a different reason. So this is called debugging. This is where the fun really begins, and where you begin to understand how the language works and how the program actually works. So you've got to go in and play with those things. So you notice that there are certain words, these are blue in this IDE. That's telling you something. These are words that the program actually recognizes as native to the language. These are orange, same thing. It's recognizing those as things that are native to the language. You'll also notice that, like in English, where every sentence ends with a period, in this case, and this happens to be a version of C++ that you're learning in this environment, you'll notice that each one of these sentences ends with a semicolon. And then finally, we close the function, in this case the loop function, with a curly bracket. And if I take that last, let me go ahead and compile this once just to make sure we've got all the junk out of it. And it looks like we do. And so now that compiles nicely. If I get rid of that last curly brace and I compile it one more time, it's going to give me an error there. And it's telling me it expected to see a closing curly brace at the end of the input. So it's telling me, it's giving me a hint that something's missing here, and if I put that curly brace back in, then compile it, you'll notice that it works. So if I upload this program right now, I would have the one LED light that is blinking nicely. And so I'll go ahead and we'll stop here, and we'll take a look at the actual program as it's working on the board.